Hi, I'm Anne-Marie. Thanks so much for joining me on this special edition of Soap Queen TV. Today, I'm going to show you how to make lotions from scratch. It's super simple to do, and best of all, unlike grocery store lotions, you totally control the ingredients, and you don't have to put any unnecessary ingredients in your lotion that you don't want to. Now, if you were to buy the lotion in the store that we're going to make today, it would cost a minor fortune because it has so many good-for-you, natural, nourishing oils. You ready to get started? It's time to take control of your skincare. Let's go! I know you're excited to get started, but first, let's talk about some of the luxurious ingredients we're going to be using in your lotion and some of the tips for prepping your area so it's kitchen clean. Let's talk about preservatives first. There's many preservatives on the marketplace, and in today's lotion, we're going to be using Phenonip. I like Phenonip because it's a good, broad-spectrum antimicrobial and antibacterial that's exceedingly easy to use. Now, if you're concerned about parabens, you can use Optifen. It's a non-paraben and formaldehyde-free preservative. It is a little more tricky to use, so that's why I like to use Phenonip. I've done a lot of research on parabens, read countless studies on preservatives, and for me and my family, I'm comfortable using parabens in my lotion and cosmetic products. They're safe, they're effective, and the FDA has approved them for use in cosmetics. What is a paraben, you ask? Parabens are para-hydroxybenzoic acid that, when mixed with So I really encourage you to do your own research. Wikipedia is a great place to start, and on the Soap Queen blog, there's an article about parabens as well. You can make an informed decision for you and your family. Are you wondering when you have to use a preservative in your product? The basic rule of thumb is that anytime you're using water in your product, you must use a preservative. So things that are going to be introduced to water in the shower or have water in them need a preservative. Now, if it's something like a lip balm that doesn't have any water, it's just oils and waxes, you don't need to use a preservative. I'm not going to force you to use a preservative, but if you don't use a preservative, you need to refrigerate your product, and the shelf life is only going to be 1 to 2 weeks. Remember, you often can't see mold or bacteria growing. Often it doesn't smell. So do the safe thing and use a preservative. I also want to clear up some rumors about GSE, grapefruit seed extract, ROE, rosemary oil extract, and vitamin E. These are all incredible antioxidants. They help to extend the shelf life of your lotion and the oils in your lotion, but they are not effective preservatives. They do not provide broad-spectrum antibacterial and antimicrobial activity for general use at home. So, these are great to use for additives, but they won't suffice as a preservative. Here's an example of 2 lotions that were preserved with all-natural preservatives. Take a look at that. Not pretty. This is some mold, and you would never, ever want to give this to friends or family or sell it. Distilled water is another very important ingredient when you're making your own lotions from scratch. Water from the tap often has little microbes in it that can grow things, or just has heavy metals in it from the piping that was used to bring the water through your tap. So spend the extra 99 cents and start with distilled water. The recipe I'm showing you today, I love. It has tons of moisturizing ingredients in it. Shea Butter is incredibly wonderful because it's moisturizing and nourishing on the skin. Sweet almond oil is high in linoleic and oleic fatty acids, making it an excellent penetrating and restructuring oil. Avocado oil is high in vitamins A, D, and E, making it very nourishing for your skin. Stearic Acid is a vegetable-based wax that helps with thickening your lotions, but also, very important, adds to the fluffiness factor of your lotions. Emulsifying Wax is the ingredient that keeps your waters and your oils and waxes mixed up. As we all know, oils and waters don't mix naturally, so you need something to keep them together. There are a lot of different emulsification products you can use, and I've tried practically all of them. BTMS 50 is an awesome emulsifier. It has conditioning agents added to it, making your skin feel extra silky and smooth when you use it. Ceteryl alcohol is another emulsifier you could use on your own or in conjunction with emulsifying wax. It's commonly used to help thicken lotions up. Borax and beeswax is another really interesting natural combination of emulsifiers. Now when I made my borax beeswax lotion, it kind of was a little too thick and heavy for me and didn't really have the consistency I wanted, so not my cup of tea. I'm frequently asked about all natural emulsification systems, and unfortunately I've tried a bunch of them and they just didn't work out well enough for my personal taste. I've tried less thin. Look at how gunky this looks. This is not anything I want to give to my friends and family or sell. I've also tried the natural emulsifier xanthan gum. My lotion didn't stay together, got really goopy and runny and slimy, and separated out after a few weeks. So for me and my lotions, I'm going to use Emulsifying Wax NF. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we get started making the lotion is how to sterilize your equipment. You need to make sure that your equipment, all of it, is totally sterilized. So to do that, take 1 ounce of bleach and put it into 1 gallon of water. Now rinse all of your equipment in this mixture. Dry it off with clean paper towels. And if you need to, let your bottles air dry if you can't get that last little bit of bleach water out. My equipment's already been sterilized, so it's time to get started making some lotion. In your sterilized heat-safe container, add 1.7 ounces of sweet almond oil, 1 ounce of avocado oil, 1 ounce of stearic acid, and 1.2 ounces of emulsifying wax. Take this and microwave it for 2 minutes. Now that this is melted, it's time to add our shea butter. Shea butter is a little tricky to work with. It doesn't like to get heated very hot, so I'm going to put it into my already hot oils and waxes, stir it, and let it melt naturally and slowly. I'm going to set this mixture aside for now and measure out my water. For this, I'm going to be using 18 ounces of distilled water. This goes right into the microwave for 1 minute to heat it up a little bit. If it's too cool, it will harden our waxes and oils that are in our oil wax mixture. All right, this is the fun part where we get to see our lotion start to form. Take your oils and waxes, making sure there's enough space in there to fit 18 ounces of water. Take your hot water and slowly start to pour in, mixing with a spoon. Look at that. It's turning white already. It looks like it's emulsifying. It's so cool. It's like an awesome trick. But wait, it's not fully emulsified. We need to do one extra step. I just plugged in my stick blender, and I'm going to use this to help make sure this is fully emulsified. In short 15 to 30 second bursts, just use your stick blender until your lotion starts to get a little bit thicker. Can you see how this is starting to thicken and emulsify? It's so cool, it's so quick, but we do have one last final step. All right. We need to take the temperature to make sure that the temperature of our lotion is below 145 degrees. This is because Phenonip degrades at temperatures above 145. It looks great. It's definitely under 145. So now it's time to add our preservative and our fragrance. Phenonip is used at 0.5% to 1%. For this lotion, I'm going to be using 0.2 ounces of Phenonip. And the fragrance, 0.1 ounce of fragrance, because you don't want this to smell too strong like you're wearing perfume. Clementine cupcake is so delicious. It smells so good. And just because I don't want purely white lotion, I'm going to be using a little bit of pre-diluted Peach LabColor. Only about 3.5 milliliters, just a little over 1 dropper. Too much color and you're gonna dye your skin, and no one wants that. So make sure you're using less color rather than more. Now that we have our preservative in, our fragrance in, and our colorant in, it's time to mix. You can just mix with a spoon or you can mix with a stick blender. It's up to you. We're all done with our 24 ounces of lotion. Wasn't that easy? You can get it into your lotion bottles with either a funnel or you can just pour with a steady hand. I like to pour with a steady hand. You need to work fairly quickly here. If the lotion cools down, it becomes thick and viscous and not as easy to pour into your lotion bottles. Now, leave the caps off for 1 to 2 hours while the lotion continues to cool and evaporate off moisture. Okay, it looks like my lotion has cooled down, so I'm just going to cap my lotions and get ready to put on labels. Let's talk about what needs to be on your labels. If you're going to be selling these lotions, the FDA has strict guidelines about the things you need to put on your labels. First of all, you need to clearly identify the product as lotion. Second, you need to list your ingredients in the descending order of which they've been used. You need to use the international nomenclature names for all the ingredients in the product. Third, make sure your contact information, including your address, is on the back of the bottle. Fourth, you need to make sure you put the weight of the product in the bottle. If you're using a 4 or an 8 ounce bottle, you can say 4 fluid ounces or 8 fluid ounces. Finally, I'd recommend checking out a book called Soap and Cosmetic Labeling. It has every single rule for labeling every single soap or cosmetic product you could dream of. Worried about how to keep all this labeling stuff straight? Don't be. I've taken out all the guesswork for you. I have the label PDF template at soapqueenroyale.com. Just download it, print it on label stock, write in your contact information and the fragrance you used, cut it out, and put it onto your bottles. There you go, professional looking labeled handmade lotion bottles. Doesn't that look great? Thanks so much for joining me today on Soap Queen TV. I'm glad I was able to show you how to make handmade lotion from scratch. See, you don't have to use a million different ingredients to get a great product. Until next time, thanks for joining me and happy soaping. My equipment's already been sterilized, so let's get ready to milk. What am I snapping for? Okay, so let's get ready to make. Okay.